So the type of training that I do is very much based within that decent conditioning, decent amount of pad work, glove to glove work, sparring work, so that people, there's a lot of stuff that I can teach that is impractical. Do you know what I mean? One of the things my jiu-jitsu instructor, Braulio Estima, will say to me is, give me the problem and then tell me if you think it would work, because I don't want to show you anything that's not real. Again, it's that contested element. So for me, yesterday's training with the team, we went into pommeling. So pommeling's a flow drill for me. So 50-50 exchange is something before you engage. For students who are a little bit more advanced, that could have been hubod from Filipino Kali, could have been sticking hands, or Chi-Sao from Wing Chun, just something to set up a framework that you break out of. And then we're doing things like duck unders, flares. We're doing things like take the back. We're doing, head and arm takedowns. We could have loads of stuff out of that, and just getting used to this contact here. And then we broke out of that, and we went to some kind of boxing drills and back and forth, but glove to glove. So instead of just having focus bits and just believing, and focus bits are an important tool for drilling, but for reality, something needs to come back the other way. Even if you know what it is, even if you're building your game. So yesterday, for example, we might have had something like cross-up cross, and I defend cross-up cross, and then I return cross-up cross, and they defend cross-up cross. And I progress that through different cross-up cross, then cross-body up cross. So I keep the framework, but I put different elements of defences or different elements of attack into it. Then we talk about side steps, and we talk about pivots and staying off straight lines. Put that all together, and then we let the guys spar, which then means they've got the opportunity to try some of the other stuff, plus try some of the Greco-Roman, or try some of the wrestling, and add in some of the striking, and put the two together in a live spar. Let's work. Let's go. Whoa! Watch the heel up. Watch the knee bar. Boom! Oh, bit of rolling. Foot up the ass. He likes that. But if you think about 10,000 hours to become practical, what's that, 3 years, 3 times a week, something like that? And you look at that and you think, how much are you doing incrementally when you build like that? An average recreational martial artist will do 2-3 sessions a week. Fighter in fight camp might do 2 a day, 3 a day, depending on what the gym regime and the coaches believe where he's training with. And then you look at the cumulative growth of that. Somebody like Tony Robbins, who spoke about his fear of public speaking and it being a massive fear for everybody. And he completed this course, and they went around the people in the room and said, okay, when are you going to speak? Well, I've passed the course, I'm going to take a few weeks off. Going to write a couple of speeches, and I'm going to start talking to people about whether I can speak for them. Okay, when are you going to speak? Well, I've got one at the Women's Institute that I'm a member of, and then I haven't got any, and they get to Tony Robbins, and he goes every day for the next 30 days, and they go, wow. And he goes, I'm going to fail spectacularly, but I'll also succeed. And for me, that type of mindset is the thing that differentiates any. The willingness to fail, knowing delayed gratification, the willingness to fail, knowing that in the end that will become a success, is a differentiator for me.
Hitting some pads, bro, as usual, always working.
What pads are you doing?
So just hit a little bit of warm up on those paddles over there. Just getting moving hand speeds, you know what I mean? Focus on trying to really be like tap, 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 tap every single time. You're sticking the tight pads on now, so I'm gonna guess we're gonna go for a bit more power. Just working the standard stuff, staying sharp, 2 weeks out now, so staying ready the whole time.
Here we go, first one, tight fork and number 1. Let's go. Oh yeah, there. Oh, caught me. Let's go, same again. Father-son relationship is an obvious challenge in terms of I want him to do well. I was brought up by an Irish father, so there's not there's not a lot of explanation to do that. It doesn't matter whether you know why you do it or not. Just get on with it and do it. Tough love. So for me, the first challenge is separating. And you said this to me before, didn't you? About Richard Shaw with Jack Shaw. That really resonated with me. I think for me the challenge is twofold. As his coach and as a martial artist myself, as an old fighter myself, I switch off at the time of the fight, and I switch off in the training. So today he was being a bit dad and son with me on a couple of occasions, probably because you're here, because he's still a young man. But within that, then I'm quite unforgiving about that. I'm not messing with that. Get ready, get that on, come find it yourself. Get back on that, get ready to let's go again. I'm unforgiving with that because I'm in coach mode. As we get closer to the fight, I'll lock that stuff away, because I think as a coach, the last thing I need to be doing is showing him that I'm panicking. But having walked that walk myself, not at the current level in terms of the size of the show and stuff, but having walked that walk myself, different fighters like different things. Some like quiet, some like to be spoken to, some like a big warm-up, some like a slow warm-up, some like, to walk out and be positively spoken to. So for me with Key, I know where he is with her. So I lock down my dad's instincts as we go out. When he's in the cage and he's taking a few shots, while I'm cornering, I've got that in my mind, said do this, and because we work together so much, he knows where I'm coming from, so I might go more than one. He knows I think then he's throwing singles, too many singles to be counted off, so I'll be more than one. He knows what that means, do you know what I mean? He knows where I'm coming from with that. He's very calm in the fight. In the corner, he's calm. I think his recent fight, I think that challenged his mentality. I believe now that he's fixed that until we get to another level. In terms of him fighting, he's got a good skill set. It's what he wants to do. Age teaches you one thing, life's short. Take a shot, do you know what I mean? Take a shot. Right hand, left hook. Right hand, left hook to the body. Right hand, left hook. You'll note he's not breathing. I'm sweating like a pig.
Cardio god. That's not one of my fight names.
So we're working through rounds. First round really light, warming up, paddles. Second round a bit heavier. Try and take let him use some of his power, but also make him work harder. So switch back out of that, back to the Thai pads. Now we're switching into the gel focus mitt so I can get close to him. In a minute I'll move to small focus mitts and we'll make the exchanges more complicated.
He's tried for the last 2.5 years to gas me, he never has. Have you ever gassed me once?
I mean, you gassed me loads with your farts. He's a bad man with a fart, Jim. Telling you, bro. We've been clinched.
One body lock and it's over.
I don't even body lock him anymore. In fact, I never close my feet anywhere near him because if he farts, I want out of there as fast as I can.
I was just talking about Paul Reed. He gets on that protein, it's just game over at that point.
I don't realise the impact that I have on him, and a lot of these initial relationships are my relationships, but I believe now he's done enough work with these guys for him to have those relationships, which is double-edged for me because I enjoy those relationships, I enjoy being with those people, but I also understand that he needs to have his relationship with them. He needs to be, get his evolution as a martial artist through them. But if you look at the coaches he's got around him, You know, Vaughn's ex-UFC from back in the day, Dave Lee ex-UFC from back in the day. Dave Lee's got Bellator fighters, Brave fighters. He just had Sam Patterson go to the UFC. Renegade has got, you know, Rocky, Fabian, Tim Wilde, you know, people like this. You know, Fearless has got Jake. So it's not for want of high-level coaches at all. You know, this really is back to what we were saying yesterday. Every fighter has to understand, or if not understand it, expect delayed gratification. We just mentioned Molly, and we know Molly's a fabulous person, cracking martial artist. Some of the coaching work she did with Emma was absolutely brilliant. You know, now Molly's got to go and she's got to do the work again. She's got to get that delayed gratification to get back where she needs to be. And I'm absolutely sure she will do it because, you know, she understands that. You know, Rocky, world champion, he became an overnight success after 20 years of training. So I think for me, number one, if it's his goal and he wants to go after it and I'm positioned to be able to help him, then I think that is my job. Do I want to keep him safe? Yes, I do. Do I want to stop him from challenging himself? No, I don't. And so I'm walking the pathway down that, doing the best I can with my resources in terms of relationships and my own resources in terms of time and so on and so forth. And then it's in the hands of the universe.